Hi, I'm Kristen Amdahl and welcome back to my studio. I've been a teacher, designer, and author in the craft industry for over 15 years. In this video, I want to show you some tips and tricks for making one of the projects from my brand new book, 52 Crochet Gifts. In this video, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks for making the Trinity striped crochet shawl. The simple rows of treble crochet in this top-down triangular shawl give the fabric a beautiful drape and texture. Multicolor stripes are optional. The popcorn stitch edging adds a whimsical pom-pom-like border. For this shawl, I used 1 ball each of Be So Sporty yarn in colorways Gentle Violet and Raspberry Coulis, and for the beautiful sparkly edging, we also carried 1 ball of Be So Dazzling yarn in colorway Hot Pink, along with the Raspberry Coulis for this really beautiful effect. You'll also need a size G7 crochet hook, which is 4.5 millimeters. Let's get started. The pattern includes written instructions as well as charts to make this beautiful shawl, and you can make it in 1 color of yarn, 2 colors of yarn. You can make it in any combination of colors or stripes. When you begin, you want to tie your yarn to your crochet hook and chain 5. This is a top-down shawl also, so you could modify it in any length as well, because we're going to be increasing as we go, so you could make it a smaller or larger shawl depending on how many rows you add. We slip stitch to the 5th chain from our hook to form a ring, and row 1 begins with chain 4, which counts as a treble crochet, and we're going to work 6 treble crochets in the ring. A treble crochet is yarn over your hook twice, insert your hook in the ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook. We'll do that again. Yarn over twice, insert your hook in the ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to do that for a total of 6 treble crochets plus the chain 4, which will count as a treble, so we'll have 7 treble crochets at the end of row 1. And this is what the end of row 1 should look like. Row 2 begins with a chain 5, which counts as a treble, chain 1. Turn your work and work 2 trebles in that first stitch. Yarn over your hook twice, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, and through 2. Okay, so we did a chain 5, which counted as a treble, chain 1, and 2 trebles in that first stitch. 1 treble each into each of the next 2 stitches. Then in the next stitch, we'll work 2 trebles, chain 3, and 2 trebles. One treble into each of the next 2 stitches. And in the last stitch, we're going to work 2 trebles, chain 1, 1 treble. Now, depending on how you decide to do this, you could work into the space in between the first chain and the next stitch, or you can find that top 4th chain of that chain 4 and work into the chain. However you decide to do this, you want to be consistent for the remainder of your project, so you could work into the actual top chain or work into that space between the chain and the stitch. It doesn't matter which way you do it, as long as you decide to be as long as you choose to do it the same way at the end of each row so that it looks consistent throughout your project. And this is what the end of row 2 should look like. And so now we're beginning to see that triangular shape forming. Row 3 begins with a chain 5, which counts as a treble crochet, chain 1, and we'll work 2 treble crochets in that same first stitch. Then work 1 treble crochet into each of the next 6 stitches. In the next chain 3 space, we'll work 2 treble crochets, chain 3, 2 treble crochets. 1 treble crochet into each of the next 6 stitches. And then in the last stitch, we'll work 2 treble crochets, chain 1, and 1 treble crochet. And this is what the end of row 3 should look like, and you can see our triangle shape is not only is our piece looking like a triangle, but it's growing. So what we're doing is increasing by 2 extra stitches on either side of the rows, and in the center V of the rows, we're increasing by 4 stitches on every single row, which also means that each side, remember how we worked in 2 stitches in the first row and then 6 stitches in the next row, you're always going to be increasing how many stitches you work even on these 2 sides, but increase by 4 on each row. So let me show you what that means. So 4 will be our first repeating row, and then we'll be repeating that established pattern throughout. So we start with a chain 5, which counts as a treble crochet chain 1, 2 trebles in that same first stitch. Okay. And so now we're going to work 1 treble crochet into each treble crochet across until we get to the next chain 3 space. On each row, that's going to be 4 more stitches than the previous row. But once you work in the established pattern, it doesn't even matter if you count them. You just want to work in each stitch across until you get to that chain 3 space. And in the chain 3 space, it's always going to be 2 treble crochets, chain 3, and 2 treble crochets. And then working 1 stitch, 1 treble crochet in each stitch across until we get to that last stitch, and then it will always be 2 trebles, chain 1, 1 treble in the last stitch. This is what the end of row 4 should look like, and you will be repeating row 4 in our established pattern until you have the desired size of your finished shawl. So we're just going to be repeating 4 throughout. If you are changing color, you'll need to cut your yarn and fasten off and join a new color. Because the stripes are rather large, it would be really difficult to carry the yarn along. So you'll be fastening off between colors. The next thing I want to show you is how to do the edging row, which is so cool. We're going to start with a chain 3 and work 5 treble crochets in the next stitch. Okay, we're going to remove our yarn, insert our hook into that first stitch of the 5, then put our hook back into the working loop of the last stitch worked and pull it through the first stitch. And what that does is cinch those 5 stitches together to create a popcorn. So that would be a 5 treble crochet popcorn. Chain 1 to tighten, then chain 3 and slip stitch down in that same stitch. So it was a chain 3, 5 treble crochet popcorn, chain 3, and slip stitch to create this bobble effect on the stitch. So now we're going to single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Chain 3, work a 5 treble crochet popcorn in the next stitch. So yarn over your hook twice and make 5 treble crochets in that next stitch. Remove your crochet hook, insert it into the first of those 5 stitches, then back into the working loop on the last stitch and pull it through to cinch those 5 stitches together. Chain 1 to tighten, then chain 3 and slip stitch back down into that first stitch. 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. And that's what we'll repeat across this entire row. Isn't that lovely? It looks like little tiny pom-poms on the bottom of the shawl. I love this edging so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please leave them for me in the comments. And don't forget, all the links from the things that we talked about in this video are available in the video description below. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. I'll see you in the next video.